This is Berry TV, where the truth is always in the headline. We'll take you around the world in 5 minutes, so let's get into today's top stories.
War triggers global economic alarm. The global economy is flashing warning signs, and the trigger is war. What was supposed to be a routine gathering of the world's top financial leaders has turned into a crisis summit as the Iran conflict sends shockwaves through markets, energy supplies, and households worldwide. At high-stakes meetings in Washington, leaders from the IMF and World Bank are sounding the alarm. The ongoing Iran war has driven oil prices sharply higher, fueling inflation fears and raising the risk of a global recession. Officials describe the mood as somber and tense. Central bankers and finance ministers are scrambling to contain the fallout. The biggest concern? Energy disruption. The conflict has reversed earlier economic optimism and is hitting vulnerable economies hardest. Meanwhile, political fractures are widening. Key allies are openly criticizing strategy, raising questions about global coordination at a time when unity is critical. Here's why this matters. Energy prices affect everything, from food costs to transportation to your monthly bills. If this conflict escalates further, economists warn we could be staring at the worst energy crisis since the 1970s, and there's a deeper concern global leadership itself appears fractured. That uncertainty is feeding market instability and long-term risk. Strait of Hormuz reopens. Tension simmers. A sudden shift tonight in one of the world's most volatile regions, a ceasefire, a reopened neft lifeline, and a global sigh of relief. But beneath the surface, the tension hasn't gone anywhere. A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is now in effect, allowing displaced families to return home. At the same time, Iran has reopened the critical Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping. That move immediately impacted global markets. Oil prices dropped, and stocks surged on optimism that supply chains could stabilize. But the situation is fragile. The U.S. naval blockade remains in place, and Iran has warned it could shut the strait again if tensions escalate. This narrow waterway controls a massive portion of the world's oil flow. Any disruption here doesn't just affect the region, it hits every economy on Earth. The ceasefire buys time, but not certainty. Military alliances are tightening, and the next move could determine whether this becomes de-escalation or a wider war. Now to a different kind of crisis, one that's slower, quieter, but potentially just as devastating. While the world watches war, another crisis is accelerating, one that threatens survival itself. Water. And right now, over 1 billion people are at risk. A major global initiative has been launched to tackle water scarcity across 14 high-risk countries. The goal? Provide reliable water access to 1 billion people within 4 years. Climate change is intensifying droughts, disrupting agriculture, and destabilizing entire regions. At the same time, ecosystems are collapsing, wildlife populations are declining, and biodiversity is under threat. From Africa to South Asia, water stress is becoming a defining global challenge. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's economic and geopolitical. Water scarcity can trigger migration, conflict, and food shortages. If these trends continue, water could become the next major global flashpoint. And as leaders focus on war and markets, the clock on this crisis is ticking. AI arms race moves into government. Washington is now at the center of a new kind of arms race: artificial intelligence. High-level meetings between government officials and leading AI developers signal growing urgency around how these systems will be used and controlled. Experts say next-generation AI models are already surpassing human capabilities in cybersecurity analysis, raising both opportunity and serious risk. Legend chases history on world stage. The world's top snooker players are converging for one of the sport's biggest events, with history on the line. Veterans and rising stars are battling for dominance in a tournament watched by millions globally. Beyond sport, it's a reminder. Even in turbulent times, global audiences remain drawn to moments of precision, pressure, and excellence.
That is your short and detailed look at the top stories around the globe today. For continuous coverage and breaking updates, keep it right here on Berry TV. Thank you for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. Have an amazing day.